Good morning. Today we'll discuss regarding compilers. So it's related to compiler designing. So as a computer science graduates, you people know regarding compiler. So when you're going to work with any programming, in real life, we are using compiler is one of the part. So in this class, we discuss regarding what is meant by compiler and where we are using. Is there any alternative for compilers? These all things we'll discuss. So generally, when you're going to write any programming, in earlier years, when we started the computer, we people are working with low level programming. Means the programmer is directly interacting with system with the help of low level programming. Means they are giving instructions in the form of 0 and 1. So whatever they need to work with computer, they're supposed to give the instructions in the form of zeros and ones only. For example, when I need to do some addition of two numbers, like some 5 plus 2, it is not possible to give the instruction 5 plus 2 directly to the system. Why? Because this system is working with low level programming. Means it can able to understand 0 or 1 only. So it is not able to understand what is meant by 5 and what is meant by 2. So it will work only with zeros and ones. In that situation, what they are supposed to do is, we're having one ASCII chart. ASCII chart is there. With the help of ASCII chart, we can convert whatever the instructions which is in readable format will be in zeros and ones. For example, 5 is there. For this, we're having one number in ASCII chart. For example, assume it when I want to work with some A, capital A, it is having the ASCII value 65. So we are going to convert this 65 into zeros and ones. And then after, we are giving instructions to the computer. But the problem with this one is, for every transaction, for every instruction, we supposed to convert it into zeros and ones. It will be the big issue to the programmer to do such type of things to go with the main task. That's why they implemented another type of language called assembly level language. Or else we can say that middle level language. So here, when it comes to assembly level language or middle level language, the users are giving instructions in the form of mnemonics. Which is somewhat better when compared with low level language. So if you want to work with computer, with the help of mnemonics, you can work with instead of zeros and ones. Here, the advantage is you no need to work with directly with mission. So instead of that, whatever you understood with the help of mnemonics, you can do it. For example, if I want to perform addition of two numbers, we can use the mnemonic called add. So with the help of add mnemonic, we can perform addition of two numbers. Like that, for every transaction, for every instruction, we are having some mnemonics. I think you people already work with microprocessors. So there you studied regarding the mnemonics. And the later, so the operations which the user is doing with computer is increased. Automatically, mnemonics list also increase. Again, it is a big issue to them to understand and to remember the mnemonics, what they are going to use. So if you want to perform some operation, if you want to do some calculations, or else if they want to do some task, first the people should know what are the mnemonics we should supposed to use to perform that particular task. So that is a big issue for them. That's why they implemented high level language. When it comes to high level language, every instructions will be like a general English only. So right now, what we are using is high level language. But the thing is, even though you are working with high level language, computer can understand only low level language, means mission level programming. Computer can understand only mission level programming. Still now also means it is able to understand only zeros and ones. It doesn't know what is meant by mnemonic. It doesn't know what is meant by alphabets, what is meant by numeric values, what is meant by special characters. So it can understand only zeros and ones. Then how the system is going to process these all things? So now in this class, we are going to discuss regarding this one. So how the system is converting the high level language instructions into low level language, which is readable by or which is understandable by system. Okay, so that can be done with the help of language processors. So when it comes to high level programming language, we are having two types of language processors. One is called compiler. Another one is called interpreter. So these two are the language processors which is helpful to convert the high level programming language into mission level language. But what we discussed is we are having assembly level programming. Assembly level programming also we discussed. Their instructions are giving in the form of mnemonics. For that also, we are having one preprocessor to convert the assembly level language instructions into mission level language. That is called assembler. So assembler is also a language processor to convert assembly level language instructions into mission level language. So today we'll discuss regarding these three things. So what is meant by compiler, what is meant by interpreter, and what is meant by assembler. and how it is going to work. So first we discuss regarding compiler. So what is the use of compiler? Compiler is nothing but a translation of a program written in a source language into semantically equivalent program written in a target language. Here, the source language is nothing but high-level programming language. It is a high-level programming language. Means the translation of a program written in high-level language into semantically equivalent program written in a target language. Target language, here the target language is nothing but machine level language. So machine level language, we call it as a target language. Means the main work of compiler is which translates the high level language instructions into machine level language instructions. So that is the use of compiler. Here, whatever the instructions you wrote in high level language, that we call it as a source program. So whatever the source program I'm having, I'm giving it into compiler. So assume it, if I wrote some prog1.c, one C program which I wrote, that we call it as a source program. And the source program, I'm going to give it to compiler. The intention of compiler is which translates the given instructions which is available on source program is converted into a target program. So whatever the target language means mission level language. So assume it, if I'm having some instructions like this, some C equal to A plus B. So printf, some result is %d, comma C. Some instructions are there, like main is there. Okay, all the things like a simple C program. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert this C program into target programming language, means mission level language. I'm going to convert it into mission level language. So this conversion can be done with the help of compiler. So ikkada source program is nothing but which I gave on C programming. So it is going to compile the thing, means it is going to convert all the instructions into low level language. At the time of conversion, if there are any mistakes occurred, so means if you do any syntactical mistakes, so it is going to raise some error messages. If everything is okay, means you don't have any errors in your program, then it is going to generate a target program. So if, for example, if you take C programming language, so here the source is prog1.c and target will be prog1.obj. So means the compiler is going to generate one target program with extension .obj. For example, if you are working with C programming, it will be like this. If you are working with Java program, so the source program will be some like prog1.java. Then when you give it to compiler, if everything is okay, then it is going to generate one target program with extension .class, like prog1.class. So prog1.class is a target program, means which is in the mission level code, Okay. So like that, the compiler is going to do. But the thing is here should keep in mind that compiler is going to translate the entire program into a target program. Okay. So assume it, if I gave some 20 lines of program, 20 lines of program, these 20 lines at a time is going to convert it into machine level code. Okay. So if everything is okay, then it is going to convert. So in between 20 lines, if anything error occurred, assume it when I forgot some semicolons in C program, or else instead of printf, if I wrote print statement. So like that, if any error occurred, then it is going to generate error messages. It is going to generate error messages. So this is going to happen in compilation. Simply we can say that compiler is going to translate high level language instructions into machine level language. And another point is, should keep in mind that the total program is going to convert into machine level instructions. Okay. So this is about compiler. We are having another type of preprocessor that is called interpreter. So interpreter is also like a compiler which translates high level language instructions into machine level language. So whatever the source program you're having, it is going to convert it into target program. Okay. But the thing is, when you compare between the interpreter and compiler, interpreter is going to take line by line conversion process. So means if you are having 20 lines of program, if you are having some 20 lines of program, first it is taking the first line. So the first line is going to convert it into machine level code. If everything is okay, then it is going to execute this line. Then it's going to take second line. It is going to take second line. Again, the second line is going to convert it into machine level code. If everything is okay, then it is going to execute. Again, it is going to take third line. If anything issue occurred in third line, then it is going to generate error message. Then you supposed to do some modifications on third line, and again you need to execute it. Execution will start from third line. So third line, it is going to check everything is okay, then it is going to generate output. Then fourth line, like that, every line it is going to check. If that line is okay, then it is going to execute it. So in between, if anywhere error occurred, then the execution will stop there. So now I got the error on third line. So execution will stop on third line. You are supposed to do modifications on third line. If everything is okay, then it starts with third line and fourth, fifth, like that, up to 20th line. So here, just to observe the difference in diagram. In compilation, when I give source program to compiler, it is going to generate a target program. If I give C program as a source program, it is going to generate prog1.obj. If I give Java program as a source program, it is going to generate .class file as a target. Means the total program is converting into machine level code, and it is going to store it in somewhere. So whatever the converted program is there, it is going to store it into somewhere. So when you are working with C, it is going to store in .obj file. When you are working with Java, it is going to store it into .class file. When you work with interpreter, both are doing the same transactions, but here we don't have target program. Source program only we have. Ante, whatever the instructions we are having, it is going to convert it into machine level code, and immediately it is going to execute it. So first line going to convert into machine level code and it is going to execute that one. Second line going to convert into machine level code, execute that one. So it is not storing in system. Directly it is going to execute it and generating output. But compiler is not like that. Compiler is not like that. So it is taking the entire program as a source program, okay, and going to generate the target program. So when you want to work with, when you want to execute, you are going to execute target program itself. So I'm going to give input to target program only, and target program only going to generate output. So this is the difference between compiler and interpreter. The general thing, the general default difference, what we say that the compiler and interpreter both are used to convert the high level language instructions into a machine level language. The first difference is compiler is going to convert the entire program into a machine level code. Interpreter is line by line. Line by line means it is going to take each and every line and converting into machine level code, and it is going to execute. So once the first line is okay, then it is going to execute that one. If second line is okay, then it is going to execute. If third line is okay, then it is going to execute. Like that, if you found any error on some 15th line, the 20th line, there it is going to stop the execution. Okay, but remaining 19 lines are executed successfully. But compiler is not like that. And the third one, which we got, is assembler. Third one is assembler. So assembler is working with assembly level languages. Assembler is working with assembly level language. So the functionality of assembler is which convert the assembly level language instructions into machine level language. This is about assembler. So we took one example of hybrid compiler. Hybrid compiler is nothing but which is going to use both compiler and interpreter. Which is going to use both compiler and interpreter. So generally, we are having one example for compiler and interpreter, that is Java program. So Java is an example for compiler and interpreter, which is using both. So when it comes to Java programming, it is using both compiler and interpreter. First, I'm going to take source program as a Java program. When I apply into translator, this is compiler. So when I give it to compiler, it is going to generate an intermediate program. So for example, if I give it some prog1.java, when I give it to translator, means it is a compiler, Java compiler, it is going to generate one intermediate program that is called some prog1.class. So when I execute this program, so for example, compilation can be done with the help of Java C. So Java C prog1.java. When I said Java C prog1.java, So it is going to give it to compiler. It is going to give it to compiler, that is translator. So the compiler, which is going to convert it into target program, that is called intermediate program with extension prog1.class. Now, when we're going to execute this program, generally we can give the instructions like this: Java prog1. Java prog1 means I'm giving the program to virtual machine, JVM, Java virtual machine. So when you observe that in Java program, you're not supposed to give the extension for execution only. Simply you are giving Java prog1, means internally it is going to take dot class. prog1 dot class is going to take. So here the thing is prog1 dot class is giving. So we are going to give it to a virtual machine. Here the virtual machine act like a interpreter. It is a interpreter. The virtual machine will act like a interpreter. Okay, so it is an example for hybrid compiler. So Java is an example for hybrid compiler, which is using both compiler and interpreter. So starting when you're going to process a program, first it is using compiler. At the time of execution, it is using interpreter. That's why we say that Java is error-free programming. Why? Because 2 times it is checking. 2 times it is checking. First time it is checking with compiler. Second time it is checking with interpreter. So it is the language processing system. So the source program which we are having, and we are giving it into preprocessor. The preprocessor is nothing but it may be a compiler, it may be assembler, or it may be interpreter. Okay, so the source program which I'm taking, that one, giving it to compiler. If your target is assembly programming, then giving it to assembler. And we are working with some linker or loader. So for what purpose is, if it is having any libraries, if you are using any libraries, this linker or loader is going to combine, and which is going to convert into target programming. So for example, C programming రాస్తున్నప్పుడు I'm going to use some hash include. For example, hash include some stdio.h. It is library. So, and I'm going to write some program, whatever it may be. When I give it this program to a preprocessor, then what it is going to do is, so it is going to compile it, and with the help of linker or loader, so whatever the libraries we are using inbuilt in your program, that is also compilation. So when you observe the C program, when you're going to write some simple 10 lines program, even though you are having 10 lines program, so it is compiling nearly hundreds of lines of program. So if you want, just go and check C program compilation. So if you compile your 10 lines program, it is showing some, it is compiled of 110 lines program, 120 lines program, like that. Why? Because so it is not only compiling your program, it is compiling the dependent libraries also. Whatever the libraries you mentioned, that is also going to compile that one. So that's why we required linker or loader to compile our program. So this is one of the important topics, that is the difference between the interpreter and compiler. So generally it is the most important question in examination. And which is very simple thing what we discussed now. So just we summarize the points. So first one is interpreter. It translates just one statement of the program at the time into machine code. So it is going to translate a single statement, means line by line. Compiler scans the entire program and translates the whole of it into machine code at a time. So interpreter is translating line by line code. Compiler scans the entire program and translate into machine level code at a time. That is the first difference. Second one is, it is going to take very less time to analyze the source code. However, the overall time to execute the process is much slower. So here what I'm saying is, an interpreter takes very less time to analyze the source code. Yes, it is going to take less time. Why? Because it is going to analyze a single line only. Assume it, if you are having some 10 lines of code, it is going to take first one line only. So that line only it is going to analyze. But when you summarize this one, total 10 lines, so it will take slower. But the compiler takes a lot of time to analyze the source code. Why? Because so compiler is going to analyze the total 10 lines at a time, not a single line. That's why it is taking a lot of time to analyze the source code. However, the overall time taken to execute the process is much faster. So why? Because it is no need to analyze again and again. So compiler is going to analyze the total program one time only, at a time, one time only. So once it is analyzed, then you can execute the same program number of times. So for every execution, it no need to analyze that one. But interpreter is going to analyze. Why? Because compiler, once it translated the source program into machine level, it is going to store it into some file. If it is a Java.class, if it is a C programming.obj is there. That's why next time execution will be fast. And interpreter does not generate an intermediary code. So intermediate is not generating intermediate programming code. Hence, interpreter is highly efficient in terms of its memory. So it is not generating any target program. That's why it is using very less memory only. But compiler is generating intermediary object code. So .class rs.obj it is going to generate. So it will need for the linking, hence more memory needed. So compiler is need more memory and interpreter needs less memory. And next one is, keeps translating the program continuously till the first error is confronted. If any error is spotted, it stops working and hence debugging becomes easy. So if you're having 10 lines of program, if first 5 lines are okay, then these 5 lines is going to execute. When it comes to 6th line, if we found any error, then it is going to stop there itself. And then you can do modification and then you can continue. So debugging is easy. Debugging is nothing but finding errors where it is located. When it comes to compiler, so generally it scans the entire program. So whatever the errors we found in this program, total program is going to finding total program in our, in total 10 lines, it is going to find the errors and then finally it is going to summarize the errors. But interpreter is not like that. And when it comes to interpreter, it is using some language like Ruby, Python. Compiler is using C, C++. These are the differences between the compiler and interpreter, which is one of the most important topic in this session. And it is 100% there is a chance to get this question. Okay, and it's the default thing. Everyone should keep in mind that these are the differences. Okay, so line by line compilation, translation, entire program is going to compile compiler. So compiler is going to take less time to analyze the source code, but it's taking more time. Sorry, interpreter. So interpreter does not generate any intermediate code, but compiler is going to generate. And examples .obj file or .class file. Okay, so and in interpreter debugging is easy, but compiler it was somewhat difficult. And Python is an example for interpreter which is using, and the basic is language is there and basic. So old language, this is also using interpreter. Okay, so anyhow the time is over. Today we'll wind up the session and tomorrow we'll continue next concept.